Nice
Thanks
to
so
meet
much
you,
for hanging
and happy
out.
birthday.
Oh, geez, appreciate it. Now, Squid Game, how did that all happen and green lighting that?
Yeah, it still feels very surreal. Director Hwang, he is one of the most respected filmmaker in Korea. And when we first launched in Korea, we weren't where we were now, and it was a very, very rare opportunity for us to be able to do something with the director Hwang. And then when he gave us the script, which was originally in film, and which he had written like 10 years ago. And then when we read it, like we were, like they're all chilled and we were all very excited. But then, there was so much more that could be told in that sort of script.
Right.
And as we were discussing with Director Hwang, we actually thought that, okay, we can make this into a series. And, he said, okay, I'll turn this into a series. And he has never written series before. And then, he would like disappear like for a month.
Yeah.
And then he sent us like the first script, and then we were all very excited. And then he sent us like the second script, the episode 2, and like everybody, okay, like we have to make the decision now. But he was like wait. Like he said, like read the whole thing, and then make the decision. And that's a very Director Hwang style.
Right.
And, we were waiting like almost every month, just waiting for, like this child waiting for the comic book, the next edition to come.
Yeah.
And it was really an exciting time waiting to sort of read his script. And, when we were able to read all the scripts, we knew that we had a hit.
A gem. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a gem in our hands. And I was so certain that this will become the biggest show in Korea, if not in Asia. Little did I know that this will become the biggest show, period.
Yes. So when he approached you guys for the first time, what was that pitch like, and how did that meeting even happen? Did you just knock on the door or like try to...
We actually had someone who actually had a previous relationship with Director Hwang, and at that time we had just built the team on ground, and our teams were like really busy going around, knocking on the doors of the creators, asking them, our favorite question of what is the story that you wanted to tell that you couldn't tell before.
Yeah.
And the creators would have, always have something that they have in their like closet where it was just too ahead of its time that they couldn't tell that story at that time. And Squid Game just was one of them. Director Hwang had written it, 10 years now. It's almost like 13, 14 years ago. He'd written it 10 years the way before. And he had shown it to one or two studios. And the most of feedback that he got was that it's a little too ahead of the time.
Right.
So, and he thought, okay, like he will wait until it's the right time. So when Netflix knocked on his door, he actually gave us Squid Game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You've greenlit amazing projects in the past. What's some of the strangest or weirdest pitches you've had, and where have they been? Like actually elevator pitches or anything like that?
Obviously have a show called Chicken Nugget, where a girl turns into a chicken nugget, and the father and the guy who has a crush on her tries to save her and turn her back into human. So that is like when I first heard from my team, I was like, what? So that was a weird story. There were some but the exciting stories are like, The Kingdom was one of our first scripted show, and it was from the writer Kim Eun-hee, and again, she actually had this story for 10 years, and she knew at that time she wouldn't be able to tell this story. The nervous thing for us is then we've never had a zombie show in Korea. And zombie for us was something that only Hollywood makes.
Yeah.
So it was we needed to sort of push ourselves to dream a little big, and that just to be able to realize the vision that the writer Kim Eun-hee had. So it's sometimes these weird story about somebody turning into a chicken nugget. Sometimes it's about this zombie show in Joseon Dynasty, or where it creates the brand of a Korean zombie. And there were so many different shows that we've sort of come across.
Do you also get involved in the casting as well? And do you have final decision around that? How deep do you get into knowing the cast for like future shows?
Right. We think of this more as a partnership with the producer and the director. And what we really try to keep is really staying true to the character. So it all boils down to the story and the character within the story, and who are those talent, on-screen talent, that is really going to be the best fit for this character. And it's we try to make sure that we empower and rely on the director and the creator to find those right talents. And very gratefully, they always make sure that we are aligned and we go through that journey together. And I do remember the conversation when we first greenlit Squid Game, and having this conversation with producer Jenny, and because Squid Game at that time was the biggest show ever made in Korea, and her exact question was like, who do you want us to cast in order to justify an investment like this? And my reaction was, well, whoever the director feels is right for the character. Right. And I think that's where the very good sort of partnership sort of started. And we wanted to make sure, I mean, if we are in this because of the vision of the creator, we want to make sure that we sort of empower. And I'm not saying we're always, this is always a peaceful process, because there is always a difference in opinion, but it is really a journey that we go together with the creator.
Yeah. And talking about the creator, do you guys talk about future pictures together or other projects, or is it kind of like project to project? Project to project.
Because the way we find stories, find pitches, find the projects that we want to make, it first starts with the story. And every story is different. So we actually first start with the story and the character of the story, and then who is the right talent for the story. So it really depends on project by project and the vision of the creator. Sometimes we do have, right now we're in a very, lucky stage where a lot of the talents really want to work with us. And it is actually a good place to be in. So when we see a pitch, now we do have the luxury to say, oh, like this will actually really be really great with this cast attached. And we know that this person was looking for a role like this. So now we actually have a little more of that freedom to really, imagine bigger for any types of show and any types of cast.
Working with cast and creators, have you ever been starstruck yourself? As in like, oh my God, it's, a certain star.
I think in early days, we actually had a lot of projects where we get to work with really new talent. And it was really a pleasure, really like discovering these new talents. And making them big, and making like let's say, for example, seeing their Instagram followers grow from a couple of thousand to like 100K to like the millions. And I think that one really was Hoyeon from Squid Game for Sebyeol. Was when we saw the show, we were like, oh, she's gonna become the star. And looking at her, just seeing her being loved by all the fans, still it felt very surreal. But you really feel the impact when you're really seeing her Instagram followers, social followers increase like really fast. So Hoyeon, I think, was really someone that we actually, because that was her first show. And it was really an amazing thing to see. And I think Songgang, he first worked on a Netflix show from Love Alarm, which was one of our first original show together with Kingdom. And Songgang from Love Alarm to Sweet Home to My Demon, and like seeing him just grow in different roles and become an actor and become so popular. These for us are like really like like makes us feel like like I'm doing the good work.
Let's talk about the future. What kind of shows are you looking at to greenlight in the future?
It all boils down to what are the types of shows that our local audiences would love. We make shows in Korea, Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, Australia. Really want to find the locally authentic storytelling that is really going to satisfy and entertain our members in that market. And us as a service will have to do the job of finding those audiences outside. So it's never like a specific show or specific genre. And what's important for us is a variety of quality stories that is really going to entertain the local audience and has the potential to travel outside and find audiences outside.
If you could be in any show yourself,
I've always told my team, if I join Squid Game, I can outwin all of you. But watching season 2, I've decided that I'm gonna take back. I would like to be in one of those romantic comedy shows where the Korean careers are so great at, and live a happy life forever.
And finally, do you have an advice for anyone that wants to pursue a similar career to you?
I think it really boils down to really knowing your culture, knowing your passion, and knowing your story. What is your strength, and what are the types of stories that you can actually really tell well? And that, I think, is really an important part of doing this job. And I think another important thing is really having interest in human beings and what people think, why do people do certain things? Why do people think certain ways? Why do people say certain things? Because making a great show, it's all about having a great story and having great characters. And the people watch these shows because they want to resonate with these characters. They want to, be touched by the story, the background story of this character. And creating a great character really is about understanding what people do and how people think. And I think it's really an important part of being a creative executive.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.